Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. In this episode, we're going to talk about Microsoft and DirectStorage. So Microsoft is coming out with a DirectStorage is what they call it. It basically allows you for fast loading times and freeing up your CPU when you're gaming. So this is more on the PC side. So Xbox kind of has a iteration of this already. So this is more on the PC side of things. But basically what it's supposed to do is it handles small reads effectively, really effectively. You can basically batch things together to get more work done. So if you fully integrate it in your title, developers have the ability to put it into their titles, basically. With the NVMe SSD on a Windows 11, Windows 11 utilizes this technology more than 10. 10 has this technology, but it's more of a lesser version. It's the free version, right? Windows 11 has the premium paid for version. It reduces the CPU overhead in a game by 20 to 40%. So basically, it's kind of interesting on what it's exactly doing here. So basically, it's able to process several small bits of information from your SSD at once, resulting in faster load time. It streamlines the process of taking compressed data from a game, uncompressing it, and rendering it on your GPU and making it happen simultaneously. So things like game assets, like textures, environments, characters load in much faster as a result of that. So because of that, it puts less demand on your PC hardware. So it basically is kind of freeing up your CPU, it seems like. For me, it sounds like it's almost taking that information from your SSD and letting your GPU do most of the work and allowing your CPU to do other things instead of having to work with the GPU to uncompress its data, is essentially what it sounds like it's doing. I don't know. It's kind of, there is a video that is out there from Microsoft that kind of goes into more of what this DirectStorage is capable of, but ultimately it sounds like it might be pretty cool. We'll have to see how it is when it comes to, in a Windows 11 machine and doing this work. But ultimately it sounds like this allows the system, your PC or your computer, your gaming PC, to load up games and do games much quicker, load them up and much faster rendering by allowing the GPU to pretty much handle majority of the work compared to the CPU, and the way that it delivers that information from your SSD in those small batch together data files that it can uncompress and deliver all at the same time instead of doing it step by step, right? So anyway, we'll go around and see what everybody thinks about this and maybe can shine some more light if they know a little bit more about this than I do. Pat, what do you think, buddy?
It's very interesting, right? Because they basically said that it's the reason that this is allowable is because of the basically the file system IO that was put into place with Windows 11. That's the reason why they're able to do this, and they get like 20 to 40% increase or decrease, I guess, in load times or performance efficiency, if you will. They mentioned one game that is currently going to come out. That's not out there. It's going to come out with this, but Bespoken or Forspoken, not Bespoken. Forspoken is going to come out with that in October. And it basically, they make a very, very, it's like an extreme reduction of load times, right? They basically said it took an average of 10-second load time and made it 1 second. That's insane. 1 second, 10 seconds to 1 second is just crazy. That's a pretty good increase. That sounds like more than a 20 to 40% increase to me than what efficiency. I mean, that's just insane. And yeah, they did the video. I tried to watch chunks of the video, but I don't really like the way that the guy who's in there is explaining it, because it seems very confusing. Because the way I'm picking up on it too is it sounds like they're offloading some of the work to the GPU, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense because the GPU's got its work cut out for it already. But I could just be misinterpreting how he's explaining it. I would need to see the white paper on it and look at some of the tech specs on how they're doing this, because to me, that's what it sounds like. But then they also talk about taking more chunks of smaller data. So are they kind of like shotgunning it and using more lanes, more bus lanes, more CPU channels to do this instead of just throwing one big long line of code at it. They're basically saying, okay, we're basically going to essentially throw more at each core, or throw smaller chunks at multiple cores, basically, instead of using that old technology of a single bus down to multiple buses. I don't know. It really, without getting too much into some of the white papers on it, it sounds interesting, but I would have to see where it's going. And they only recently released this to developers, right? I mean, the developers only got this kind of code change and information not too long ago. And it sounds like to get the benefit of it on the PC, you need to run Windows 11. And I'm not running Windows 11 because I heard horrible things about game performance on Windows 11. And I'm not ready to pull the trigger yet because I'm not ready to kill my PC gaming experience. So if it's true, cool, but I'm going to have to see more game developers use it, and I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on, am I ready for Windows 11 yet? Because I don't know about that. I mean, they make some bold claims in here, about freeing up your PC CPU so that it can do other things such as game recording. So it sounds like it's really good for like low budget streaming PCs so that you can actually play the game and stream or record the video content a little bit more efficiently, right? That's where it sounds like you're going to get your major wins from, if the offloading of the information or chunking of the information is going to be quicker and less CPU intensive, then your CPU can be budgeted for other things such as streaming. Or if you're one of those guys who has like 4 monitors and you're playing a game on one, listening to music on the other, writing your thesis on the other one, and I don't know, solving world hunger on the other one, this is really going to help you out. So more power. I mean, we're always in, technology is getting better and better by the day. It's just the way it works. And this is just another feather in the cap of how Microsoft's operating system is supposed to be getting more efficient and more intelligent to help offload some of that process. But I don't like the sound of offloading more to the GPU, because GPUs are already busting their ass as hard as they can now. And we pay a premium for a GPU. I mean, you're paying, and you could pay, I paid probably $600 or $800 for my CPU that's in here now, but you're looking at a GPU. That's a low end GPU cost. You're looking at $1,200 to a couple $1,000 for a high end GPU, and you can get high end CPUs for that for desktops, but that's like top of the bread, top of the line. Top of the line GPU is going to cost you over $2,000 at this current market. So I don't really like the sound of offloading more of my workload to my GPU. Shane, what do you think, man?
Well, I think there's a lot of acronyms in this damn thing I don't care for. Not a tech guy. Just like when we talking about the VSR, VFM, ACDC, whatever the shit that was called. I don't get that
VHS.
Stuff. Betamax.
And Betamax.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, just the gaming aspect of it. I like the ideal. I like the ideal of my game going from 10 second to 1 second. That means I'm gaming faster. That means I'm gaming longer. That makes me happy. I don't do tech, but I do games. So, if it'll make my games better, run faster, even look prettier or whatever, I'm happy. So keep doing that crap. I would love to sit here and give you a whole bunch of acronyms back at you, but guess what? I push power, and if it don't work, I call you asshats. So there we go. But better games. Keep going with all that tech crap. That's all I have. Nick, what about you, bud?
Yeah, all that tech crap. I mean,
That's
I agree.
the technical term.
That's a technical term, of course. I would agree with Pat. Without having more information as far as exactly what it's doing. Kind of because reading, and I did go skim through the video a bit as well, but reading, what it's doing is exactly like Patrick explained, and kind of what I said at the beginning. It sounds like it's just sending small chunks of data through. Yeah, and it does sound like the GPU it's offsetting that to the GPU to handle. So I don't know. I mean, without looking into more of it, it's a very interesting idea, and I would like to see its execution. You said Forspoken is going to be the first one to utilize that. I'm assuming that game is coming out for PS5 and PC. Then I thought it was a PS5 only game, but I guess maybe it's coming to PC as well. So if you were, for the end user, what do they need to have? I mean, they need to have an SSD, right? Because they do require an NVMe drive. And then what's required off of that? I mean, is that it? I guess.
Yeah, it just basically says that's the requirements. Windows 11
and Windows 11, yeah.
A SATA, an NVMe, basically, because they're testing with an NVMe, but it just says SATA SSD. So, I mean, technically, that leaves the door open for a lot of interpretation. Where, as they mentioned, NVMe multiple times. So,
right. So yeah, I mean, if you check out that game on PC and see how it is, I mean, maybe we'll get more ideas of how this DirectStorage is going to work for that. I haven't jumped the gun on Windows 11. I did it once, and then I jumped back to 10 because I was like, nope. So and that Windows 11 needs a little bit more time to cook. But this could be a cool idea. Xbox, we talked about Xbox. Xbox does have a DirectStorage capability already, they say. I don't think it's in line with what they're doing here. It's kind of again, like the Windows 10 version, it's the free version, right? So it's not quite as efficient as this, and not quite doing the same thing as what they're putting into the Windows 11 experience. So this seems like it's more of a Windows 11 type thing and PC type thing. Could they introduce this to Xbox in the future? I don't know. I don't know if it would require a reconfiguration of the like a new design of the Xbox with different components to be able to do this. I mean, it does have a SSD inside of it. So, and they do have, could they update the DirectStorage capabilities inside of here, or whatever software or whatever it is, to make it utilize that? And how does the Xbox utilize DirectStorage today, right? We do get fast load times, yes, but I would accompany most of that to just the SSD being inside there, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this in the future, and also to see these first games. Just like you said, Pat, the developers just got this not too long ago, so I wonder if that's why Forspoken got delayed, right? I don't, it may be, it'd be kind of weird for them to delay it to put this in there, but maybe they wanted to be the first game to introduce this new technology, right? So it'll be interesting if this really kicks off and becomes something that does what they say. We could see this being utilized in a lot of games in the future, and possibly coming to consoles and other things to be utilized in the same sense. Right. This could be a new way of getting games to load in and load up with graphical assets and various things like that very quickly. So, we already have fast load times now. Just wait till we get to the point where it seems that we're going, where we have, like you said, 1 second load times, right? You can't put those tooltips in there now.
You can't play with your phone in between loading screens anymore. Yeah. And supposedly, like Nick said, Xbox already has this technology, but I don't think anything's been put out with it on the Xbox yet. And I was reading in an article earlier that supposedly NVIDIA already has announced that they have RTX IO technology built off of Microsoft's DirectStorage. So basically, they're going to be coding their GPUs to be able to, include rapid file decompressions onto their GPUs. So they're already planning for this, that Microsoft's giving them. So I don't know, that doesn't really help the Xbox, right? Because that's not an NVIDIA chip. So, I'm sure we'll get some technology on that side that will help better. I don't know. Maybe that's the next Xbox Pro or Xbox. We got the mid-gen bump last time with the last series. Maybe that's what this one will be. There'll be more GPU. There'll be a new GPU IO, because that's basically what this is, from what I can determine, is that it's just adding multiple IOs to the system. So instead of one giant request or input output, it's just multiple smaller input outputs, just shotgunning it, if you will, spreading it across multiple lanes and multiple channels. So it sounds cool, and it you kind of, when you read about it, you're kind of like, I didn't know we weren't doing this already, but some things just seem to be innate when you think about it. You're like, oh, I got multiple bus lanes, why aren't I using all of them? Or I got multiple CPU cores with multiple threads in each core, why aren't I using them to their fullest capacity? But it just sounds like somebody came up with the bright idea instead of one long chain request. Why don't I break this up into smaller ones? But, you know, it is what it is at this point. You know, we'll see what it is. With Forspoken, we'll see. I'm expecting those 1 second load times on PC. You know, is it really going to be 1 second? Could you imagine playing any game that has no tooltips anymore because the screen just flashes black and it's back into the next scene, or it doesn't even flash black. It just boop, boop, and it's back up. And you're like, oh, crap, I didn't get to read that text message because it loaded so quick.
Yeah, I noticed that when the new systems came out, some of the games that they didn't plan for them loading so fast, and some of those tooltips would go by really damn quick. Can't remember that one you were bitching about, Pat. It's like, I couldn't read it.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first games we played, and I can't remember what it was, but I was like, I can't get the tooltips. They're just going by too quick.
I think, what is it? I can't remember if it was Horizon Forbidden West or maybe it might have been a different game. There was some game, and I want to say it was for Horizon Forbidden West. They extended the load time screen so that you could have enough time to read the tooltips. Like it would load it so fast that you couldn't read them. So they extended the length that it takes to load, basically, or making it look like it, right? It's already loaded, but it makes it look like it. So that way you have time to read it before it transitions.
There are going to be artificial load screens now for games so you can read their tooltips. Just imagine this, though. What's the worst game you can think of for load times right now that you've played?
Oh, God. GTA is probably the longest that I can think of for a while, but recently.
How about Destiny? Destiny is notorious for the triple load screen. Is true. And what I mean by triple load screen, they try to hide the fact that their game assets are loading by porting you into space. And then when you get into space, you're flying on your ship. And then when your ship gets to the planet, it's porting you down. And that's triple load screens in Destiny. Can you imagine? They would only need a single one. If we get a 40% reduction, we get a 3-to-1, 3 load screens down to 1. Destiny will have indecent load times at that point. You're not sitting there going, okay, we're about to take off, and we took off, and now we're about to leave, because that's Destiny, right? You take off and you're in space and you're waiting for your ship to take off, and the next thing you know, your ship's racing through space. That's the 3rd load screen, and then it gets to the planet and it's hovering there waiting to teleport down, and then you teleport down into the planet. It has triple load screens. Imagine that game with only a single load screen, because that was my biggest complaint with Destiny. Is I'm going, all right, are we gonna load yet? Come on, guys. We're all sitting there chatting and checking your phones and making a Facebook post or a Twitter tweet, or, you know, posting your junk on Instagram or whatever, you know. So no more time for that, guys.
No more time for the phone. Nope. But yeah, it'll be cool. We'll see what happens when Forspoken comes out, right? I mean, I didn't expect to get Forspoken on PC, but you know, if they got like a demo or something that I can check, guys, I do plan on, I'm sure, you know, I do plan on probably getting that game, and I'll probably get it on the PlayStation 5, but, you know,
Maybe I'll get it on Xbox, and we'll compare load times.
Well, it's not going to come out for Xbox. So.
No, I mean PlayStation, PC. I'll get it on PC, and you get it on, and we'll compare load times.
There you go. Yeah. Because I would be really interested to see it, you know, and then I just could come over and see, like, let's see how fast this thing loads.
And I'll get really it on sale.
There you go. But you guys got anything else you want to add to this?
No more VRR, FRM, tech talk crap.
All right. Well, this has been Tech Talk with Shane. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notifications. Also, make sure to comment down below. What do you think of DirectStorage? Do you understand what we're saying? Are you like Shane and kind of out in the water? But if not, you know, what do you think of this technology? What do you think of the ideas of it? Or are we saying it wrong? Maybe we got the wrong idea here. That's what it sounds like. But, you know, of course, we could be wrong as far as what they're trying to explain there. Yeah, what do you think of that? I mean, like, and what do you think of load times possibly being down to the point where we can't read tooltips anymore? I guess they could put them in the menu, but I kind of like that. I like that pause between so I can look at my phone and read Facebook or something. But no, I would love the day when there's just no load times at all, right? I can just play a game seamlessly without having it load. And we're getting there. We're getting there. But thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
See ya.